podcast. This is Connor versus Cobb. I am Ryan Connor.
I'm Nick Cobb. Podcast.
There we are.
This is my come get your podcast. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Welcome to the
People
show.
sold it like newsies. How would you have been as a newsie? You think you would have been successful?
Terrible. I can't do it, man.
You
I can't do that.
Sing and you can't dance. But can you yell? Like, could you be the kind of guy that could, sell hot dogs?
Did they sing and dance? I thought they just went newspaper.
Well, I'm kind of dividing it between the musical newsies and
being an actual newspaper salesman. See, it's very odd that you did that.
I subconsciously combine the worlds so that Christian Bale is my idea of what an actual newsie was.
It's like saying, do you think you could be an actual lion and you conflate an actual lion with the lion from Wizard of Oz and Simba?
A little stretch, but yeah.
These aren't real. I don't think I can be a newspaper salesman. I'm a bad merch salesperson too. I can't do it. I can't do anything. Like I can't look someone in the eye and say, "Give me money, please." Can't do it.
Dude, I don't understand these people that just have no issue with doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
meanwhile,
here's a shirt that I spent $2 on. Give me $35.
Yeah.
Like, these are people that already came to your show.
They already gave you money. Yeah. That's why, like, I sell my book after shows, which I feel fine about because I wrote a book.
Of course.
But the other stuff I just can't do. I no shame to other people for doing it. Good for them. They're paying their bills.
No, there is a little shame. You can't have it both ways. I know what you're saying.
Depending on
what you're saying is you couldn't sell someone else's newspaper, but you could sell your book on the street.
Oh no. But I just think a book is different. I sold T-shirts for one show, and then I gave the rest to Goodwill. This was like 18 years ago. Goodwill got a load of 48 Ryan Connor comedy T-shirts.
What do they have on them?
It said Level 9 Sorcerer.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. I bet those would actually sell. I would sell. I'd write a joke right now if you could give me the bulk of those. I was just
humiliated though. I was humiliated asking people to buy my like, hey, do you want to wear this shirt instead of the shirts you already have? I felt like a fraud.
I think I was there
when my Calvin Klein.
It's when I met Erin Conroy. She was like handling your merch table at the wine show in and I don't know, one of James Fry's shows. So years ago, like weren't you selling shirts?
No.
Okay, she was selling my shirts then. Anyway,
yeah, I sold Conroy. Yeah. I mean, I sold a shirt. It was in one night at the DC Improv in probably 2004.
God, what were you asking for them? And did you sell any?
I think 20. Yeah, I sold some. Yeah, dude, my friend Jingle Master Tony has one.
You should have just like.
I don't even
this is what you do. You finish with your set, or like midway through your set, you take an Adderall, like while they're laughing, and then you'll be able to handle selling T-shirts after the show.
Dude,
that's the only way that you could do it.
Most people do it like at the, they'll do a pitch during their set, which I can never do.
Sure do.
And then for Level 9 Sorcerer, literally, it was like the last words in my closer. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Close on it and then go, by the way, we have shirts.
It's
clever.
Kinda.
Actually, you're right. Well, all right, let's go back in time. Maybe I start doing that joke again and selling my Level 9 Sorcerers.
How many features have you met where their whole set is selling a shirt? All of it.
Oh,
the whole thing.
But it's a necessity, right? It's a necessity for them.
Of course. Dude, I had a bunch of shirts printed. I had the same issue where some shows, whether they went well or didn't go well, I'm like, I just don't want to go sell the shirts. And then I ended up taking them all out to some Jason Love gig. And it was like squeaky clean and then like 45, something I didn't want to do. So I'm like, I'm just going to take all my shirts and I'm going to give them away during the show. That's just what I'm going to do. So I just threw them into the crowd. And people were going crazy for them. Like, yes, give me a shirt. We're talking about 10 people. Like if you're, whenever I went to a Bulls game last week, people went crazy. Everybody's standing up for those parachuting T-shirts.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing, but 15 people at an elder home where I was.
Yeah.
And they all wanted the t-shirts.
Amazing.
And only one person gave me money afterwards. Not that it was obligated. I would throw them around, but like they couldn't give me anything.
I might bring back the shirts and bring back the joke. I haven't done it in years, man. It was on the it's on my dry bar actually. But yeah, it's one of my first like long stories.
When were you saying you're going to actually make money from Tri-Bar?
Oh my God. In about 64 years. But the first shirt,
I bet it's really good. I bet you have a really good dry bar, actually. And I'm not one to give you compliments, but I bet your dry bar is
You're not
really
one to
good.
give me compliments. It's good. I'll just be honest. It's good. But, it's not really, I don't know, man. It's not clicking with the Mormons.
Maybe
But, it's not doing badly.
Fine. Yeah, those
whatever. We don't
production
need to get
costs
into
are
it.
nasty.
I don't want to get it.
All right, fine.
If you were going to sell merch, what would you sell?
I mean, I think t-shirt, sadly, is probably the best thing to sell. Man, unless you want to do beer koozies, but no one's going to pay more than $10 on a beer koozie.
The worst thing you can that you could do is I sell shirts, and then I sell more shirts than books. That's humiliating. That's like, are you kidding me? This is clearly better than that. You don't need this. You could use this.
Okay. Yeah, I disagree, man. I think
but
your expectations are off. Everybody can wear that shirt. Not everybody. Everybody at your show can probably read. That doesn't mean that all of them have the time to read.
No, but I'm talking about value, man. I'm talking about value. Same. No one needs the shirt. You know what I mean? But
it's just easier.
Some people sell like stickers and stuff like that. Look, I don't need a sticker, but that's where your margins are. 3 cents, sell them for $5. Anyway, here's what I'm getting at. Scientists have brought back the dire wolf. Do you know about this?
I heard this. Speaking of, hang on. Wait, I just wanted to say one more thing. We have a friend who does great in the merch world. And what kills me is he sells 2 shirts, and both of them are great shirts, and people love them. But in addition to that, he also sells like a bookmark or something. It kills me that it's like the 2 shirts aren't enough. Also the bookmark, or maybe bumper sticker.
Yeah, that's really fun. I didn't know he sold a bookmark. I should sell a bookmark because I sell a book, but I don't. Scientists have brought back the dire wolf. Do you know about this?
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
Okay, now people are haggling. You didn't bring back a dire wolf. You brought back a gray wolf with the DNA of a dire wolf. Motherfucker, that's a dire wolf. Okay,
they're already splitting hairs about it.
They are. It's basically hater syndrome. People who wish they did it, and then the dire wolf people are like, "Well, we brought back a dire wolf according to the definitions of a dire wolf a year ago, and now you're moving the goalposts." Basically, they took gray wolf DNA and then they changed the genes that are different and changed them to dire wolf DNA, and they made dire wolf. Okay, it's not going to affect us. What prehistoric or just what extinct animal do you most want to bring back?
Oh, of all the trillions of them.
One. You can bring back one.
Well,
it becomes wild and plentiful.
Right. Like a carrier pigeon kind of a thing, how they used to be everywhere and now you don't. Yeah. I mean, obviously my mind goes to either, a dinosaur or the dodo bird, because I've just heard that in that phrase so many times in my life of like, it went the way of the dodo. And so I'd like to know what people have been talking about this whole time. But that aside, I'd really want to see Triceratops.
Are you serious? That's mine too.
Yeah, that's what I'd want to see. Is it really?
Wow. Yeah.
Why do they call this Cobb versus Connor?
I know, right?
Agree on all the big
my number
points.
1 is Triceratops. My number 2 is Stegosaurus. My number 3 is Mastodon.
A mastodon would be just fabulous.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with a brontosaurus. I think it's funny to think of that a
No such thing as a
brontosaurus is
brontosaurus,
just
Nick Cobb. Did you know
walking
this? There's
around.
no such thing as
Since
a
when?
brontosaurus.
When? Since when?
About 15 years ago.
They said that they don't exist, or they just renamed them because it was
No,
slightly different than what they
what
thought
was
it was.
called a brontosaurus was basically a brachiosaurus or a patasaurus. Like, I can't remember which one it was. It was one of
God,
those
who's
two.
splitting hairs now? You're doing exactly what the dire wolf haters are doing. You're like,
No.
you know what I
It's like,
mean?
no, but okay, I hear you, but it was just basically I don't know if it was like at a certain age or something, because they did that with some triceratops too, where they thought this is another species, but it was just a juvenile triceratops.
Okay.
But anyway,
But you knew what I meant, and you just couldn't let it go, could you? You just
I know
couldn't.
what you
You
mean, but we
had
have we have a lot of scientists as listeners, and look,
How many
I had a
times in your life would you say have relationships ended because you corrected someone about something that you did not need to do?
oh, never,
Would you
never,
say
I don't do
three,
that.
4 times?
No, never. This is just a podcast. This is the official record. I have to set the record straight for our listeners out there in the world. What if, look, I played trivia twice last week, okay?
Oh yeah.
And yeah. And you know what? Did quite well. Why? Because we put the right answers. What if someone's listening to this and then they play trivia next week and they're asked about a dinosaur that we, if they're like, there's a, oh my God, sauropod that we thought existed, and now we know this was no distinct species. What was it? And then they put brontosaurus, and then they win, right? They win their trivia game. They don't win anything. They don't win a thing. They just win. Maybe they get a $50 gift certificate to the restaurant they're in, but that's something, you know?
Yeah, but if they don't, and it's on us, then wouldn't their knee jerk be like, come on, you know what I'm talking about, trivia guy. You knew what I meant. And so I got
Look,
one vowel off. You're going to say no. I think it's silly. But the point is either that or what were the flying dinosaurs called? It's just completely
pterodactyls or pterosaurs is the family.
yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that. It would because
Yeah.
it would be so just creepy as hell.
Yeah.
To have them flying around. They probably end all bird life.
No, that's the thing, is they would go extinct really quickly.
Unbelievable. What else do you know about things that you've never seen?
I know everything about dinosaurs. Okay, let's just accept it. Okay, so pterodactyls, they think would have survived the Great Extinction, right? They would have biologically could have, but they had too much. There's too much competition. They died off towards the end of the dinosaur age because smaller birds, they could fly faster and stay in the air longer. Therefore, they were much better hunters. So
all right, fine.
So they were pterosaurs were extinct, driven to extinction by birds, not the Great Extinction, or at least tapered way down. You know,
this was a really fun question, and then it became your masterclass on dinosaurs.
Look, man, we got into dinosaurs.
Like, you knew that I was going to go with dinosaurs. You knew it. If you say any extinct animal, you can bring it back. You obviously go with dinosaurs just so you can take it in.
No.
And then you knew that. You threw me this curveball. You knew it, and you're like, I can't wait to jump all over how he mispronounces this, or that he doesn't know that this was no longer considered a dinosaur or some bullshit like that. Couldn't wait.
That's only for our viewers. Listeners don't get that. No, look, I'm a dinosaur man. I still have in my head a trivia confrontation from about 8 years ago. This was at Bigfoot Lodge in Atwater, and we were in contention to win. I was on a 2-person team. Okay. And the question was, during what era did plesiosaurs live? And I said, and I think I'm saying that right, it's the long aquatic ones. And I
I
said
don't know.
Triassic, which is correct. That is the era they lived in, is Triassic. She's doing the answers, and she goes, "In what era?" She had an Australian accent. She's like, I can't do that, but she's like, "In what era did plesiosaurs live?" And she goes, "Water." And I was like, "Hold the phone. That's not an era." So after it was over, I went over to her. I was like, "Hey, you said what era did they live in? They lived Triassic." And she goes, "No, not era, area." And I
Oh,
said,
come
"Well,
on.
water." I said, "Well, water's not an area either. It's a terrain." And she just kind of shrugged. And I'm like,
What did they
whoever wrote these
win?
questions,
What did they win because of that?
I think you would win like $100 if you win the things, like $100
And
off
the
the bar
bragging
bill.
rights?
And the
Crazy. You
bragging
come
right
out with
to win with a
Jurassic.
team of two.
Well, I don't know how that didn't impress me because I didn't know how big the other teams were. When you
Most
said
are
that,
like
I just
4 to 6. But
oh, okay.
anyway, all that's to say is, look, man, I'm a dinosaur man. All right.
Yeah.
And I would love to see pterodactyls flying overhead, but nothing would excite me more than a triceratops or a stegosaurus, because I also think that they are docile enough, unless you mess with them, that they could thrive. They could just eat grass, and we live in harmony with them.
That I say I'd love that. If they were just
Yeah.
if there was a town Triceratops. I mean,
Oh
how
my God.
many think of the bidding wars from different universities that you're like, we're gonna change our Indian name mascot now that there's a
With
Triceratops.
T-tops.
We've been waiting. Now we
Yeah.
got a
The
real live
T-tops.
Triceratops. Yeah, man.
3 horns, 3 horns.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, people would go crazy. I would look. They would guard your cattle. You'd have all kinds of agreements like that amongst the animals.
I'd love
I
to
don't
bring
think
those.
anything,
But
because
if
you
you're gonna
wouldn't
bring
want a
back
missing
one of
link,
those
right?
animals first, a dire wolf is not a bad idea. The first
Yeah,
one. Because you don't
first,
want to, if
yes,
you're gonna mess
yeah,
up, you don't want to mess up on, a T-Rex.
yeah. You don't want to mess up on a mastodon either, because you want to know how to do it, because they're working on either mastodon or woolly mammoth. I can't remember. You want to get
Woolly
that
mammoth,
right,
please.
so that people will let it happen. I want to see that badly. I don't care
What was
about
that?
this. Oh, we're playing God. It's like, all right. Jurassic Park was a book.
What was that? That Jason Statham movie? Was it like Megalodon or something?
It's also a movie, I guess. Oh God, you want to bring back megalodons?
Sure, why not? Just like I think it's
Man.
it's the really circuitous route of ending all comedy gigs on cruise ships. Is if
Yeah.
you bring back Megalodon, there's really no more cruise ships. Nobody's going out, especially if you're like, we're not going to tell you where it is. And only geeks like you would know, like, well, it can only survive in the Arctic or whatever.
Yeah.
And so who's going to go on a cruise ship if there's a 1% chance of Megalodon?
Yeah. I don't remember the size of megalodon, but they could eat a great white in one bite.
Yeah, well, that's big enough for me to not go near the ocean again.
I'm
an ocean guy.
I already don't go in the ocean unless I can see everything. Like, I'm really at the shore, I can see everything around me. I used to love the ocean, but once I learned that great whites are actually all around us, done.
What ocean can you just see through? Are you in like the Bahamas? Like when?
That's the thing. Exactly. How often am I there? Twice ever. So, yeah.
Dude, I got no beef with it. I'll jump right into the Pacific. It can be January, and I'll swim out far.
Dude,
And
you know the beach in
how's
LA,
no luck?
there's great whites everywhere. They actually have warnings on the Santa Monica Pier that says if you catch a great white, you have to let it go.
Ah,
There's
is
drone
anybody
footage
going to
of
be
people.
strong enough to lift it up?
Right, exactly. There's been drone footage. People are like paddle boarding, like just off the shore or just sort of swimming around. There's great whites circling them. No thanks.
So
I
you're
know
not
this is
into
proof that they're not attacking much. They're really not attacking. But what if?
that? Yeah, I mean, I feel like if it happened to you, you'd get into some kind of like semantics argument with the shark right before they ate you. I think that's what would happen. That'd be like Ryan Cotter's last minute of life.
Look,
It's
I
like,
tell you what,
actually,
they told me to punch you in the eyes, but if I don't do that, will you let me go? Then you'll have eyesight for the rest of your life. Think of this. You could eat me right now. You're satisfied. You're satiated, but your vision's going to be impaired.
Yeah.
You're going to have a corneal abrasion. Do you really want to trade me for a corneal abrasion?
They don't do LASIK for you guys yet. Yeah. I mean, it's very short-term thinking, even for a shark. But I don't know. I don't know that you could win them over with that argument.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild. I do kind of like, my knee jerk is like, don't mess with this, blah, 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 messing with God, nature, all that. But I got to admit, it is fun.
Sounds cool, right?
It does sound cool.
And
I don't know.
The reason I don't say dodo is like, we're not really going to see it. How many bald eagles have you seen in the wild? You know, it's like,
I think one when I was a Boy Scout. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could have probably told me it was anything. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I don't know.
Dude, I saw a scout troop in LA on Sunday. It was, I swear, at first I thought it was a costume party that had showed up to breakfast because I have never seen that in LA.
I never saw it in LA or New York.
In any city. First a guy walked up in a scout uniform, and I was like, oh, he must have gone to a theme party or something. And then a whole troop rolled up, and I was like, oh man, it's like Troop Beverly Hills or some shit, except boys. Yeah.
When I was in Boy Scouts, I would be sure after the meetings we go to Blockbuster sometimes, and I'd always have a backup dress in the van to change into. I didn't want anybody to see me in my scout uniform. Yet I had no problem them seeing me with my karate gi and my yellow belt. No problem at all. That was all good. And that's still, I think that stands true today. People would have no problem. They're like, they'll walk around in a karate gi like they're fucking Shogun walking through Costco.
I wish I had a gi, man. Should I get a gi to wear around the house? Are they comfortable?
Dude, the jujitsu people had some pretty good gis, and they were heavy.
Yeah, they look so heavy that I don't know if they'd be comfortable. I want silk.
No, it's not a kimono. That would be a cool move.
Is it as comfy as like just like say sweatpants, or just stick to sweatpants?
It's just heavier. At least the one that I had on.
So it's not comfortable. You wouldn't wear them all day to work at home.
I mean, it's comfortable enough. You have to wrestle around.
Good God, just say yes or no. Are they as comfortable as sweatpants?
No. But nothing.
Okay, I'm not doing it. You know, I didn't own sweatpants until the COVID.
What? Why?
I hadn't owned sweatpants since I was a child. Yeah, I had like warm up pants from that I'd wear like during warm ups for games.
Yeah, tearaways. That's different.
Or just like team pants or whatever. But they were, it's like that. What is that? Like that nylon material. I never had sweatpants, and then I was convinced to get them, and I was like, man, this is cool.
Yeah. That's how I felt when I was knocking on everybody who wore a vest. And then my friend's like, you got to get this vest. I got it. And I'm like, man, my body's warm and my arms are free. There's nothing wrong. It's great.
I always thought it was so stupid. And then I was given one, and I was like, oh, this is actually great for running in the winter.
Yeah. Long sleeve shirt. Yeah. It's great.
But let me ask this. Would you ever want to bring back any of like the missing links? Like, Australopithecus and Lucy, all these like, the bridge from us to our like ape ancestors.
It's too close to home, man. That's messed
I think so
up
too.
Because some frat dude's going to try to fuck her. And like, it's just like, that'll be the first thing that happens. It happens within 6 months.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard.
He's got the Lucy.
Yes. It's exactly what would happen. The frat guy would fuck Lucy. And then we're just in for a whole world of problems.
We all got it. Yeah, you're so right.
The Triceratops.
I was just thinking, they're gonna wreak havoc.
The Triceratops, like you said, they're docile, but like no one's gonna try to fuck it, not even like a hippo. So I think we're good. And hopefully whoever is creating them is doing so where they're already, neutered or spayed. Yeah. And so like let's at least like put some, like, let's have some caution to where it's like, we'll create this thing and it's fun, but let's not let it get out of control.
Dude, another one that we like to bring back is the giant American sloth. Do you know them? They're like 12 feet tall sloths.
I love a sloth.
They had claws like this, but they move like that, So it's like you can get out of the way. That'll be a fun one. You don't want the other giant old American animals like the American lion or what's it called, the snub-nosed bear. It's like a bear that's like 50% larger than a polar bear that used to live in Southern California, and then the American lion's like twice the size of an African lion.
It is more exciting to if you're going to bring something back, bring back a predator. That is more exciting. I'll say that.
It's more exciting. That's why I want to bring back the Dinosaur.
Yeah, it is more exciting. I like the idea of like, oh, but if he gets loose, like the Triceratops, after you watch it for 5 minutes, you're like, oh, so as long as I don't jump on its horn, I should be fine, right? Just bring some celery, kids, that kind of thing. But
if you want, if you're going to bring back animals, sorry, I'm sorry.
No, if you're going to bring back Lucy, I would say the danger would be you got to make sure she doesn't have good tits. That's the main thing. You don't want to bring back Lucy with good tits. And if you do, she better be infertile. Like, come on, man. You can't tempt, all the bros out there. Because the bros have dares and somebody's going to be...
It's like, no, once she waxes off 99% of her body, she's hard to look at. I think if the world keeps descending the way it is, we need to get scientists. All research money needs to go into getting us a full concentration. We'll just call it full concentration level. The however many T-Rexes we can get out in the world, release them at the same time. The snub-nosed bears, the American lions, get all the prehistoric animals out there. And then that'll be even worse than the Trump administration, maybe. Oh. And then we let them destroy the world and us.
You mean Cabin in the Woods style? Like that's what you're saying. Like
it's like, let's make it interesting.
That would be super fun.
Yeah.
Sorry. That would be really fun to have like, hey, we want to just thin the herd and we're bored of people dying the normal ways. And we don't want to, inject more carcinogens or just like anything that'll cause a disease. How about instead of that, we're going to make, a fucking werewolf? Or
should we actually delete this from the podcast and write this movie?
I think that would be so much more fun. Like if we're going to do the dire wolf, let's do 1,000 of them and just let them loose in Maryland. See what happens. Let them go.
Yeah, man. Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, is not a movie. That's a reality show right there. If you're talking about Survivor, talk about Survivor with extinct species.
Dude.
You're on an island.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, then now that just goes into Jurassic Park, but like not just dinosaurs, just all different kinds.
Yeah, wolves, bears, lions. Let's make it happen. I let's say 20 T-Rexes, maybe 200, various raptors. Let's play ball.
How many? Like, is the military? They're called off. Like they're called back. They're not allowed to kill the T-Rex because it's too important.
Yeah. This is the Trump administration. He's in. Let's let it get interesting. He's in the mindset of it would be great TV. It would be great TV if Gaithersburg, Maryland, was eliminated by bears.
If that's the case, you might as well have a Kumite tournament with with various animals.
Dude, I would pay for that too. Oh my God. We're going to have to delete this whole thing and just pitch it as TV shows.
That'd be phenomenal. I'm not a big green screen guy, so I'm going to wait until they can really produce the Triceratops, but I am in.
Have you seen Prehistoric Planet?
Probably not.
It's like Planet Earth, not a cartoon. Dinosaurs. It's done by the Jurassic Park crew. It's the most amazing show. It's a series. It's amazing. And then for Apple Vision Pro, they have, shorter segments, but, a few minutes long where it's fully immersive. You're in you're with dinosaurs. It's fully immersive. You're like in this creek with, now I can't even remember what dinosaurs it is in that one.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah. But you're fully immersed, and it feels so real.
That'd be
This
pretty
Kumite
cool.
idea is great. How is this not a show? I mean, how many times have you gone to YouTube and just searched, lion versus hippo?
Oh, many times. How about a capture the flag with humans, but or maybe even with prisoners, but like the things protecting the flags are dinosaurs. You don't even know what kind of dinosaur you're going to be up against, but that's what you're going to have to get past.
Yeah.
Winner gets $100 million. Who doesn't tune in? Everyone wears a camera, has like a body camera on.
God, I love it.
Who does not? That would be.
Oh God, dude, this prehistoric Kumite. I don't know how. I mean, I think we're gonna have to pitch this as a show.
It's the Super Bowl. That's what that is. That's the new Super Bowl. Sorry, I'm still getting slacks. As you know, our show was just put on extended hiatus. I've been driving around crying. I started crying during Tommy Boy earlier. I was watching Tommy Boy. And remember the end of Tommy Boy when he goes, Tommy sold 500,000 brake pads, and everybody goes crazy? Yeah, I started crying right then.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great. That's I did an I would say my weird movie crying moment was A Beautiful Mind on an airplane.
Oh yeah.
It's not even a good movie, is it? Is it a good movie? I don't know. I
haven't seen it. I've only seen parts of it.
I was on a 20-hour flight and I watched it in the middle of like I watched great movies, and then I watched it, and there's this thing where like people are bringing in their pen, and fucking, I don't know. It really affected me. I don't know if I was really tired or it was really an emotional scene, but I've heard at least 20 people say it's a terrible movie since then.
What, A Beautiful Mind? What did nominated for Best Picture? Did it win Best Picture?
I mean, I think it even won, but bad movies win it all the time. Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say it's a bad movie, but I haven't had a conversation about it either.
Green Book's not good.
Sure.
Traffic's not good. They both won Best Picture.
Traffic, I would have had an argument 10 years ago for Traffic. I don't know about now.
Watch it again. It's the most heavy-handed movie about like race stuff. It's like it's wild, man.
Here's the thing about the Kumite is that you could even, if you don't want to wait for the dinosaurs to come back, you could just do human versus animal. Like we went to like one of these drive-through safari things. I've told you about it. And the first animal we saw was a giraffe. And like, I guess it's because the first time you see the giraffe, like it's so like its head is so far away. And then you bring up some lettuce and it comes close and it's really just
you fed it
off-putting how big a giraffe's head is. It's just, it feels like is a fucking mailbox in my window right now asking for food. It's just a huge head. Have you ever been surprised by somebody's head? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I did. I got to feed them at San Francisco Zoo. It's crazy.
Were you surprised by the size of the head?
The whole thing, yeah. I mean, when the head's coming my way, the head's the size of a torso.
Yeah, and it kind of sloops down to like it has to, it's like taking a really wide turn in the car.
And their tongue twirls. Yeah. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's super gross.
It's crazy, impressive. Man.
Yeah.
We don't need
doing man versus or 3 men.
Well, that was a Fox show called Man vs. Beast. Do you remember that show?
Kind of.
It's one of the funniest shows. Fight? No. It was like feats of strength. It was absurd. It was like this guy thinks he can beat a gorilla at tug of war, and one guy thought he could run faster than, I think it was a zebra or a giraffe, and he was an Olympic sprinter, but it was just silly. Like, this animal doesn't even know it's racing you, and it's still going to absolutely roast you.
Oh, it's going to smoke you. Yeah, absolutely.
And dude, the guy came, so he loses, and then he was like, I got off to a bad start, and I think if I got a rematch, I think I'd win. They did it again, and of course, he gets smoked again. But it's like, buddy, this animal runs 40 miles per hour or whatever.
This
Why?
just goes
Why
to
do you?
show that what athletes and non like just smaller sports have to do before NIL money. This is what they
Yeah,
had. Like no one is going to give like a javelin thrower a ton of cash to do anything, gold medal or not. Like maybe you
right.
get on, maybe I don't know, maybe you get on cereal box or something, but this is what you have to deal with.
Can you
You
briefly
have to
tell our listeners what NIL money means?
what name and image likeness. It's like when college athletes these days, especially with basketball and football, get paid bundles of money by boosters, and they kind of shoehorn it into name and image likeness because on the surface, name and image likeness would not, you would think, yield $3 million for the third guy coming off the bench for UPenn basketball. Because how
Mm-hmm.
could their name or image be worth $3 million? But that's just how they say it. And now, you got some guy at Texas Tech making $4 million for 30 basketball games. You got a guy at BYU who's 18 who's going to make $7 million.
That's more than I'm
Uh,
making a year.
but I think it'd be fun, like a slap fight. How about just that? Just a slap fight with a gorilla. Does anybody say yes? Anyone?
I mean, only the biggest idiots, teenagers.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you this. My brother Hakeem, when he was probably in ninth grade or something, he thought he could take a polar bear in a fight. And we're watching something with polar bears, but when it's on ice, you got no perspective, right? Like when there aren't other animals around. So he's like, "No, it'd be fine." And then we're like, "Dude, it would just grab you." And he goes, "I'm quicker than it." And I'm like, "You're
No, you're not.
not. You're not. And you might have a quicker first step, but it's going to take you out." And I was like, "And it can maneuver on ice." And he goes, "Well, I'd wear cleats." I was like, "Dude," I said, "this thing can destroy any animal on Earth, probably even like Siberian tigers." And then as he's really holding to this line, this polar bear reaches under the water, and grabs a sea lion and rips it out and puts it
Yeah.
on the ice. And then my brother's like, "All right, maybe not, but
Bites its head
I
off.
could, yeah,
That's the problem. I don't know Hakeem. I never met him, but that is the problem with athletes. Like someone who is like pretty, proficient, pretty good, and in high school, maybe even just high school, but definitely if they're pretty good in college, they think they can just do anything. They're like,
yeah,
oh, that shark, I can swim faster than that shark. No,
mm-hmm.
you can't. It's the
No,
same.
you can't."
It's like on Golden Court, that Netflix doc about the Olympic basketball team this past year, when Anthony Edwards is like, I could beat all of these ping pong players. Like, no, you couldn't. You could not. You wouldn't score 1 point against an Olympic ping pong player.
I thought he was saying the other players on the U.S. team. Like on the basketball team. He was saying he could beat the Olympian ping pong players.
He thinks he could score some points on them.
Maybe if he got
Like,
lucky, he gets a point. Like
no.
like the other person makes a mistake. That's the only way you're getting a point, is the other person makes a mistake.
Yeah, maybe if you charm them for a minute, dazzle them, but there's
Yeah.
no chance. They're beating you 21-zip. That's
Otherwise,
what
it's like them playing Anthony Edwards in basketball.
But this is why I'm glad I'm not a good athlete, because I would never think that I could outrun a polar bear. Like I would, if I were in this situation, I wouldn't be like, we can just outrun them, because I've
That's
seen
why you didn't
fucking
make it in the
Predator.
league, man. That's why you didn't
Yeah,
make it in the league.
you got to believe. You always believe you can win, always.
You
But this
always.
is believing if you can win, even if you're down 65 with 30 seconds left. That's what it would be.
You got
That's
to.
the equivalent of like, oh, yeah, I can box a grizzly bear. I could box a grizzly. Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard.
John Wooden says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
You're right. He's
Folks,
wrong
we
in
got
this
to pay
case.
the bills here. We got an old sponsor who's come back, Dollar Powdered Milk Club. Now, Nick, I was raised on wet milk. How about you?
Wet milk.
Wet milk. Yeah, I didn't think that powdered milk would have the same mouthfeel as wet milk, and it doesn't. It's not even close. It's better. It feels like sand, and I mean this. Picture yourself having your cornflakes, but instead of it getting soggy, it gets even drier by the second because that powdered milk is pulling all the moisture from the surrounding air. And then that gets to be in your mouth, and then it encourages you to drink a ton of water. You can actually put a mouthful of it, put about 2 tablespoons of water in your mouth, swish it around, it becomes wet milk. Um,
Oh,
think of
nice.
all the
Okay.
space you'll save in your fridge and time you'll save by having powdered milk, dollar powdered milk. How? Just trust Dollar Powdered Milk Club for $14.99 a month. You'll get 12. How's it dollar? Okay. You'll get 12 pounds of powdered milk delivered to your door, and you can use that to ruin any meal you like. Dollar Powder Milk Club. Go to their website. Use promo code Connor vs Cobb.
For a big discount?
Yeah, for a big discount. Maybe that knocks it down to maybe that knocks it down to $1. I don't
If
know. It's not a
if I
dollar. It doesn't come out to $1 at all.
if I had an extra few bucks, I would want to open up a restaurant like next to a Mexican place, maybe in between a Mexican place and Chinese food, just like too popular Italian place, pizza place. And I would just want to do astronaut food and see
Oh
how
my god, yeah.
fast I go bankrupt. If I had
Yeah.
that kind of money, I just want to see how fast this, like, you want some astronaut ice cream?
That
Come
is
on,
one of
kids.
those fuck you billionaire moves.
Yeah, it
Do,
is.
do you know that Louis joke, man? This is my favorite version of Louis. It was like before he was famous and his jokes were just silly, and he
Yeah.
was just he was just like explaining how much money Bill Gates has, and he's like, Bill Gates could use 1% of his money and buy every team in Major League Baseball and make them all wear dresses. He's like,
Yeah.
he could buy
Yeah.
all the pants in the world and burn them, and there are no more pants, and we have to start over. And he's like, he's going through like all these things. It's so funny.
Yeah, I remember somebody telling me that, like, if $100 bill was, on the ground, it would be a waste of Warren Buffett's time to bend over and pick it up. And it's not nearly as fun as what you just said, but it is pretty true. It's a
Yeah.
waste of his time. I mean, damn.
I mean, even people like, I mean, look, our boss, Rob, I remember there's a video someone else shot. This is like 2 Christmases ago where he's just going around to local businesses trying to encourage people to tip more. And he's putting like $1,000 into tip jars at Starbucks and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, that probably would be like putting $20 for us, or maybe even $5. I don't even know.
Yeah, probably less than that. I'm a big proponent of, like, like, if you're in Israel, you're gonna have to do 2 years in military. If you're in Finland and many other countries, you have to do it 2 years in the military. I'm all for 2 years at like a Starbucks or 2 years at a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm all for it. I think it actually should be specific to a franchise. You've got
I
to
think
work
that's
for
hilarious.
2 years at an Arby's before you can do anything.
Yeah, at an
before you want to
Arby's.
move on.
Well, pretty soon everyone's gonna have to work 2 years making iPhones. That's gonna be our deal. Everyone gets to work in a factory for 2 years, starting
2
in
years.
20 years when these factories move here. I saw a poll that was like 80% of Americans think that more factories should be reshored in the U.S. 20% of Americans wouldn't mind working in one of them. Look at that. Look at that number.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say, man. That's so typical of, like, I want it how it used to be. Well, here's your chance. No, I don't want anything to do with that. It's exactly how it is. It's not your granddad's factory. It's not that.
No. It's I've worked in warehouses. I've worked in well, not factories, but I worked in warehouses where you're doing like proper labor and stuff. It's a lot better working in an office. I'll say that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, how are they going to like? They may take that job. How are they going to like it when they're assigned the job of putting the net up, the anti-suicide net up around the building?
Oh
You know
God,
what happens
Foxconn.
when they have to do that? Are they going to change their mind and be like, no, let's keep these in China?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, my
Well,
daughter, speaking of tech, just like off the cuff, man, I think that's the funniest thing she's ever said. She's 9. And Amy's like, we were talking about self-driving cars. And she's like, I read a thing. There may be self-flying planes soon. And my daughter, she didn't take a second to think of it. She goes, self-flying planes, that's a one-way ticket to heaven. I'm like, that's the cutest, dark, most Midwestern joke I've ever heard. A one-way ticket to heaven. I mean, it's cute, but it is kind of dark too. I
yeah, it
really
is.
like
It
it.
is.
Yeah.
It is. Oh man,
Oh,
that's really funny.
yeah, I
Because
liked
if
it.
you were like an evangelical, you would, you could spin that as like you're soaring among the angels
Yeah.
instead of crashing.
I mean, I'd love to have that perspective. Like if I'm about to crash in a plane and just be totally at peace, like, well, I'm about to go to heaven. I mean, I'd love to really believe that. Love it.
Yeah,
I'm really envious of that.
it's a good mindset. You should read. I'm just rereading some Plato dialogues. Read the Apology. I recommend that to everyone. It's Socrates' trial, and part of it is he's making
All right.
arguments about death and life. Who's to say it's not better to die? He's like, but there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it than that. But anyway, that's just one of the things that he discusses. But anyway, do you have a hypothetical question for me?
God, not really. This week's been crazy. How about this though? I'll just come up with it just right off the bat. Um, God, what's a bad movie? I always go to Meet Joe Black because it's
Do
3
a different
hours
one.
and it's boring as hell.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay.
How about the 4th Transformers movie? I don't even know what that is, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't like it. You either have to watch the 4th Transformers movie on a loop for a week, or you've got to apologize to every single person that you unknowingly offended in your life. Even if it's like you didn't hold the door open, they were just having a bad day, you didn't say thank you, even the most minor, like trifling bullshit.
Do I get a list?
Of course, you don't have to search for them; they just
Okay.
appear.
Okay.
Time
Hold
one
on. Hold
after
on.
the
Does this
next, like in
include
a
people in
Zoom.
audiences?
Sure, it's in it.
Oh,
You just like somebody's working a Zoom, and they're just in this long line of where they get on, and they're just like, Ryan, you pissed me off because in 4th grade, you blah blah blah. It's just that.
yeah. I
It'll
do
take the.
Transformers.
You do Transformers?
If it didn't include people who are offended at shows, because I'm just not dealing with that. If it didn't include that, then I would do the apologies because it's goodwill. It's goodwill to apologize. I'm not going to apologize. Someone's like, I didn't like that you said this. This offended me. I'm just, come on, man.
So you couldn't deal
Because
with
it could
that
also
if
be thousands. It's going to be thousands of people. Whereas
yeah, it
people
could.
I've actually offended in life, I hope is a very small number. And
But
I
you're
would
bound
like
to have
to atone.
you're bound to have
Yeah.
inadvertently offended some people, just like even if they just mistake you for
Yeah.
someone else and you're there in the
Right.
Zoom.
That's what I'm thinking. I would love to have a face to face with this guy on the DC Metro who followed me across 2 platforms because he thought I stepped on his, not DC, New York subway. He thought I stepped on his foot and he confronted me. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. I would know if I stepped on your foot. I did not step on your foot. This guy was like over my shoulder. He followed me across, down the steps, under, and then like up to the next platform.
Bullshit.
And
He
they
was
like,
making that up. He was making that up so that
he
he
was like a
could hit you
business
up for
guy
something.
in a suit. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, I didn't step. If I stepped on your foot, I'm sorry, but I would know if I stepped on your foot. I didn't step on your foot.
Something wrong with that dude. He followed you that long. What did he say back?
I don't remember, man. It was.
All right, how about this? It's
He didn't relent. I
only
remember
people
that.
from the shows. It's not anyone else. It's just so that's probably half of the people now.
No, I'm not
Or
dealing with these
watch
people.
the fourth Transformers for as long as the other would take. You take Transformers?
Transformers. Because look, I'll tell you one specific time where someone wanted me to apologize for something to show. Because this is what you run into. This is exactly what you run into. Okay. DC Days is my first couple years of stand up, right? Me, Rory, and Herbie Gill did a show for, it was like a dating show for like Match.com or one of those. I think it was Match.com, right? They had a show at Old Town Theater in Alexandria. Beautiful venue. Each of us is doing 25 or something like that, right? After the show, so the show is sponsored by Cabo Wabo Tequila, right? And they brought us, they're like, you're invited with all the people who are here for this speed date thing. Because their whole thing is like, we go to a show together and we go to this bar and then they meet each other like for dates or whatever. They're like, you guys can come too. And it's like free open bar for you guys. You know, Rory and I both live like basically down the street. So we go and me, Herbie, and Rory are sitting at a table together. And Herbie goes to the bar, gets looped into a conversation with these three women. We're in our, early to mid 20s, and these women are probably in their mid 40s, maybe the late 40s. Herbie gets pulled into their conversation, right? And then Rory and I stay at the table, and we're like, oh God, man, we're going to have to like go rescue him, and it's going to like tie us into it or whatever. And I'm like trying to get a signal from Herbie. And Herbie turns around and he goes, I'm good. So here's
nice.
So he's just talking to them. And then eventually we had to go up there. I don't know if we were like ordering something, cashing out, whatever the hell it was. We go there and then we're part of the group. And Rory and I are both looking for ways out. And then this woman turns to me and she goes, you were really funny until you started talking about how something about like all women, deep down want to do anal.
What?
And I said, I never said that. I was like squeaky clean on stage. And she goes, yes, you did. I know because I heard it. And I said, that's not true. And this is gross. And I said, I did not say that. Rory said that. And it was Rory's joke.
I didn't say that, but my friend 6 inches away said it.
Yeah. Rory was behind her eating her nachos, by the way. He was eating her nachos, and I'm trying to get his attention. Like, she's talking about you, and he just kind of looks back. He's like, free nachos. We're all broke. And she chastised me. So that's what I'm thinking is this conversation is just going to be a bunch of people who think that I did someone else's joke,
Yeah, that's true. Okay, fine. How about this? That same lineup, all the different apologies, but you do that and you get $200,000. But it would take a long time.
Let's do it.
But all you can do is say, sorry, I was wrong.
Yeah. $200,000. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Okay. All right. It was a bad number. I should have said $20,000. Let's do rank them and get out.
All right. Rank them is a game where I give you 3 attributes for a person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. This person, these people are identical in every way except for these 3 defining characteristics. You must rank them. Okay. Number 1, you have to clear every place you go to with her of ghosts. Okay. It has to satisfy her. It's going to be a sage burning or whatever her, whatever
around the doorway
thing that she wants to happen. You have to clear every place of ghosts. It can be a mall, an Applebee's, a friend's house. Doesn't matter. You have to clear it of ghosts.
All right.
Number 2, she smells like fresh asphalt. Okay?
All the time?
24/7 smells like fresh asphalt.
Nah, man. No.
The thing is, you might get used to it until you leave the room for 5 minutes and you come back, you smell it again. I don't know. Maybe you just constantly smell it. Okay. Number 3, every time she sees a homeless person, she gives them an IOU.
Like just a sheet of paper. Does she say how much?
Like, I owe you $5.
I have you quarter. Yeah. Well, as kind of cruel as that is, it's still really funny. So that's absolutely the best one. That's so funny. No, it's mean, but it's also like, as far as, I mean, it's selfishly, it has the least to do with, it has nothing to do with me. It doesn't like, she's like, hey, I'm going to go get a laugh out of this hobo over here. I owe you $20. Like,
it's so cruel though.
It's also inviting some danger. But I would still take that as number 1. And what was the first one you said? The sage.
Makes you clear every place of ghosts. This is everywhere you go. You have to say, sorry, do you mind if I just clear the place of ghosts, or she won't come in?
I'd still put that as second best, and asphalt. I just could never. Nah, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Hold on. Which one's number 1?
The best one is the IOU. It's mean.
Wait a minute. IOU's number 1? What's number 2?
That's the one that I would most like is the IOU.
Really? What's number 2?
The sage.
The ghost? And number 3 is asphalt.
Yeah, number 3 is asphalt. The smell?
Man.
Come on, man. Nah. My house smelled like bacon for like 6 weeks and I couldn't handle it. What's that?
I'm going through a journey in my head because when I first wrote these, I was like, I think I'd go with asphalt because I think you get used to it. But the thing is, even if you get used to it, other people don't get used to it. And everywhere you go, everyone's like, it smells like asphalt in here suddenly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't, that's terrible. That's, it's still not as bad as the ghost clearing. I would rather people go, it smells like asphalt, than why the fuck is that guy walking through the restaurant burning sage? He's going to get kicked out.
Yeah, no, that's not great. You may be right. It's more of like a 1 and then a 2A, 2B than to say
I go asphalt number 1. I go asphalt number 1. As absolutely deplorable as it is, I go the IOU to homeless people number 2. And whatever she writes it out for, I just have to give that person that amount of money just to even the playing field. Just because I could not do the ghost clearing at restaurants, on city buses, on Hertz Rent-A-Car.
It would be way more time consuming.
I can't go to the grocery store until you clear it of ghosts.
It does suck, but I think she would just stay here most of the time, and I would go and run the errands. We wouldn't do a whole lot of like, let's go to Costco together, because that would just take forever. A Costco?
Can't do it, man.
Big old warehouse? Yeah. That was a good one though. I enjoyed that.
You got anything you want to promote?
Well, man, our show. I'm at CG's in Bolingbrook in late May, and then we got our show in December.
Yeah. So yeah, let me go through some. May 20. Let's just say in May. All this is on my website, RyanConnorComedy.com. May, I'm in Ottawa, Toronto, and Hamilton, Ontario. June in Phoenix. September, I'm in Edmonton and Philly, and probably going to be in DC as well. In October, New Westminster in British Columbia, which is just Vancouver.
Do I get to open for you in DC? Did you say I did?
Sure. I mean, if you want to. Then I'm in Minneapolis, October 9th through 12th, and then Chicago, December 5th with Nick Cobb, and Mahomet, Illinois on December 6th with Nick Cobb. And,
did we loop in a Champaign, an Urbana Champaign one there too? We
can, yeah. And we should try for Springfield as well. I'll reach out to some people. Yeah, you can check out my special Live from DC on Prime or Tubi, and my book, The Party, on Amazon.com. Anything else?
No. You covered it.
Great. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
just a couple of guys palling around, coming out of your speakers, a beautiful sound. They debate, berate, and have a laugh or two. Connor v. Cobb, for me and for you. La 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 la, la 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 la. Connor v. Cobb, for me and you.
Ryan and Nick. Nick and Ryan. The Scoundrels of the Hour.